They told us the 2024 unsealing was the end of it. They lied. On January 30th, 2026, the Department of Justice dropped 3.5 million new pages. And this time, they didn't just release names. They released photos, emails, and the private calendar of a man who was playing chess with the world's most powerful people. If you thought the puppet story was bad, wait until you see what was hiding in Dataset 9. For the last 2 years, the internet has been fighting over scraps. We analyzed the list from 2024. We memed the Stephen Hawking Island visit. We thought we had the full picture of the Epstein ring, but we were looking at the tip of the iceberg. Late last month, under the pressure of the new Epstein Files Transparency Act, the U.S. government finally opened the floodgates. We aren't talking about a few hundred pages of depositions anymore. We are talking about a server-crashing dump of 2,000 videos, 180,000 images, and millions of emails that connect the dots between Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and Buckingham Palace in ways we never imagined. Today, we are combining the classics, the dark secrets we learned in 2024, with the fresh, verified nightmares from the 2026 release. We're going to talk about the billionaire who was invited to the palace, the tech mogul's secret emails, and the photo that could finally destroy a royal reputation forever. The scale of the lie, 2024 versus 2026. To understand why this is so bad, you have to understand the scale. In 2024, we got the Giuffre depositions. This was a lawsuit file. It was big, but it was limited to one victim's legal battle. That's where we learned about the massage euphemisms and the basic structure of the trafficking ring. The 2026 release is different. This is the raw data from the FBI and the DOJ. Imagine the difference between reading a book about a crime and walking into the crime scene yourself. The 2026 files include the raw hard drive data. We have emails sent at 2 a.m. We have the trash folder. We have the desperate messages sent by assistants trying to cover tracks. The media is overwhelmed. They can't read 3 million pages in a week. But the internet is crowdsourcing it. And what we've found so far proves that Epstein wasn't just a social climber. He was a central node. He was the bank. He was the therapist. He was the brother some of these people never had. The fall of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Let's start with the man formerly known as Prince Andrew. In the files, he is now referred to as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, reflecting his total fall from grace. In 2024, the big story was the puppet. You remember the testimony from Johanna Sjoberg? She swore under oath that Andrew used a caricature puppet of himself to grope her breast at Epstein's New York townhouse. It was bizarre, it was creepy, and it was the headline that wouldn't die. But the 2026 files make the puppet story look like child's play. The new dump contains photographs. We aren't just relying on word of mouth anymore. One specific set of images described in the DOJ release allegedly shows Andrew crouching or kneeling over a woman on the floor. The context is still being debated, but it destroys the idea that he was a distant, formal royal who just happened to be in the room. He was participating. He was comfortable. And the emails? They are even worse. We found correspondence from 2010. Remember, this is after Epstein was a convicted sex offender. After he had served time. The narrative was that Andrew cut ties. The emails say otherwise. In one exchange, Epstein writes to the Duke, requesting private time in London. The response? An invitation to Buckingham Palace. Let that sink in. A convicted predator was allegedly invited to the home of the British monarchy for privacy. Another email from Epstein offers to introduce Andrew to a 26-year-old Russian woman who is described as clever, beautiful, and trustworthy. Andrew's alleged reply: he would be delighted. This isn't a man who is tricked. This is a man who was actively coordinating with Epstein years after the world knew what Epstein was. The Silicon Valley connection, Musk and Gates. In 2024, the focus was heavily on politicians. In 2026, the spotlight shifted to tech. The new files blow the lid off Epstein's relationship with the billionaires of the future. Let's talk about Elon Musk. For years, Musk said he didn't know Epstein well. He said he was at a dinner or two. But the 2026 dump contains emails that suggest a more persistent pursuit. Epstein was emailing Musk. He was inviting him to the private island. Now, to be fair to Musk, the files don't show him accepting the invite to the island in the way others did, but they show that Epstein viewed Musk as a key target. He wanted him in the web. Then there is Bill Gates. The 2026 files contain some of the most gossipy and damaging emails regarding the Microsoft founder. We found emails where Epstein is discussing Gates's personal life with other associates. There are unverified wild claims in these emails, things about medical history and private affairs that Epstein was clearly using as leverage. It confirms the theory that Epstein was an intelligence gatherer. He didn't just want friends, he wanted dirt. He collected secrets, like trading cards. Why would he have detailed information about Bill Gates's health, unless he planned to use it? The brother. She never had one of the weirdest revelations from the 2026 pile involves Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. We always knew she had debt problems. We knew Epstein helped her out. But the emails reveal an emotional dependency that is frankly disturbing. In one email, she calls Epstein the brother I never had. She asks him for advice on how to handle the media. She apologizes to him. Here is a woman whose family is being destroyed by this man's influence, and she is emailing him like he's her life coach. It shows the psychological grip Epstein had. He wasn't just paying people off, he was charming them. He made them feel like he was the only one who understood them. He isolated them from reality until he was the only friend they had left. The Orgy rumor and the Stephen Hawking defense. We have to revisit the Stephen Hawking story because the 2026 files give it new context. In 2024, we saw that famous email where Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell to offer a reward to disprove the rumor that Hawking was at an underage orgy. The internet turned this into a joke. Stephen Hawking on the island became a meme. But the 2026 files show why Epstein sent that email. He was obsessed with his public image as a science philanthropist. The new documents show millions of dollars funneling into scientific grants. He was buying credibility. He knew that if the orgy rumor stuck to Hawking, it would ruin the science camp cover story he had built for the island. He wasn't protecting Hawking. He was protecting the brand. He needed the island to look like a genius retreat, not a crime scene. The Trump files and the DOJ statement. We have to address the elephant in the room. The 2026 release happened under a new political landscape, and the files are full of Donald Trump's name. But here is the nuance you need to understand. The DOJ, Specifically, the Deputy Attorney General overseeing the release made a statement. They said that while Trump's name appears in news clippings, Google alerts, and gossip columns within Epstein's files, the internal investigation did not find evidence of him participating in the sexual abuse. However, the files do confirm the social link. We see the flight logs to the casinos. We see the beauty pageant connections. The 2026 files contain tips sent to the FBI from the public. Random people claiming they saw Trump do X, Y, or Z. The DOJ included these tips in the dump for transparency, but they are unverified. So, both sides are claiming victory. Trump's supporters say, "See? No crime." His critics say, "Look at how many times his name is in the search history." The truth is in the middle. Trump was a piece of the puzzle, a part of the social circle. But unlike Prince Andrew, the files don't, so far, contain a photograph of him kneeling over a victim. The massage was never a massage. The 2026 files reinforce the darkest truth from 2024, the industrialization of abuse. We found payroll documents. We found schedules. The massage scheme was run like a corporate department. The new files show that Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't just a girlfriend. She was a COO, Chief Operating Officer. She managed the recruiters. The files show payments to women whose only job was to find other women. It was a pyramid scheme of trauma. The 2026 documents include handwritten notes from Maxwell, organizing the girls by location and availability. It strips away any glamour. This wasn't a party. It was a factory. The missing pieces. Even with 3.5 million pages, something is missing. The 2026 release is heavily redacted. There are black bars over names. There are whole pages missing to protect active investigations. Active investigations? Epstein is dead. Maxwell is in jail. Who are they investigating in 2026? That is the question that should scare you. The DOJ admits they are holding back material because it could jeopardize future prosecutions. This implies that there are other targets. There are other people whose names might be under those black bars, who are still walking free today. The difference between 2024 and 2026 is the difference between a rumor and a record. In 2024, we suspected. In 2026, we know. We know that a royal was invited to the palace after the crimes were known. We know that tech titans were being courted for their secrets. We know that the Department of Justice sat on this mountain of evidence for years, protecting the powerful while the victims screamed for help. The dark secret of the Epstein files isn't just about physical abuse. It's about a parallel society, a group of people who believed they were above the law, above morality, and above us. And the scariest part? With 3 million pages, we have only just started reading. Who knows what we will find on page 2 million?